Hi guys, so I've been using KEGG for the past few months and I just thought it would be helpful to sit down and share my experience with you and maybe go over some tips and to make sure that you are correctly using your KEGG, to make sure that you are tracking your cycles correctly and to seeing when your most fertile window is. Okay, so when I first started using KEGG, I was myself using it incorrectly, which is why I thought of making this video. So when I first started using it, I was using it as I would use the ovulation sticks that you would pee on. So like a week or so after I had my period, I would start to pee on the ovulation sticks to start detecting when I was ovulating with those. So I was using KEGG in the same sense. I was waiting that week or so after my period to start collecting the data of my cervical mucus to see if I was ovulating, and that is a big no-no. Please do not do this. It is so important, I cannot stress enough, that you are using KEGG every single day out of the month besides when you are bleeding from your period. If you're bleeding, do not use it, but every other day that you are not bleeding, please use your KEGG, because this is how it's going to collect all the data to learn your body and your cycle. And that is how you're going to get the most benefit from using this. And it's not going to learn how your body's working if you do not use it on every day that you are not bleeding. So I did mess that up a couple cycles, so it wasn't learning my cycle and the cervical mucus like it should have been from me not doing that. So that's my number one. Please make sure you're using this every day besides the days you're bleeding. Okay, so since I just brought up the peeing ovulation sticks, and now we're talking about the KEGG. KEGG is tracking your cervical mucus rather than your pee. So the electrolytes in your cervical mucus shift in relation to the hormonal changes in your cycle. This allows KEGG users to see their full fertile window so that you can optimally time and you're trying to conceive effort. You are going to be able to see when your fertile window opens and closes so that there's no guessing. So I've been trying since November. I got off the pill and it is now April, so think about how many ovulation test kits that you pee on that I would have had to be purchasing if I decided to go that route and not have the KEGG. This is a one-time purchase and I don't have to worry about ordering more ovulation test strips every month. I have this, I charge it, and the charge on this thing for me, it lasts a whole cycle. So I will pop mine on the charger when I have my period, charge it, and then after my period has ended, I will start using this again and it will last me into my next cycle, the charge. Another important tip for you to be using KEGG correctly is you need to use KEGG at a specific time every single day and within that time range, within a 2-hour time. And if you go outside of this time range, then it could throw off your readings and not be accurate. So it's very important that when you are picking this time that it works for you every day and you are going to be able to stick to it to get those accurate readings. And this is very important because throughout the day, the electrolytes in your body fluctuate significantly. So that is why it is very important to be using it in the same 2-hour range every single day. If you happen to take a reading outside of this 2-hour time range that you have chosen for yourself every day, you will see a red dot, and that is letting you know that the reading was outside of your time range that you have been taking it every day. So if you miss taking your readings for the day, it is best for you to just go ahead and skip the day rather than taking it outside of that 2-hour window you have specifically chosen for yourself to take your readings every day. Another important tip is to make sure that you are taking your readings in the same exact position every day. So this means if you're standing, make sure that you're standing. If you are choosing to sit, then sit every single day, or if you're choosing to lay down, then lay down every single day. So make sure that you are in the same position every single reading. Consistency is key while using the KEGG. Now, speaking of time range, if you are in your cycle and you say you chose 7 a.m. and that time is no longer working for you, continue to use 7 a.m. until your next following cycle, and then you can change up the time that you have chosen after you finish your first cycle. So you have to wait to completely finish your cycle before changing. And then after that, you may go ahead and do so and change your time. Okay, so next, this is very important as well. You are going to want to wait 8 hours at least after intercourse before you take your next reading. So you might want to take that into consideration when you're picking the time that you would like to take your readings every day, or else that could totally mess up your reading. So again, just to make sure that you do not take the readings anywhere less than 8 hours after intercourse. After you use the KEGG, I just rinse it under the water really quickly and then I dry it off and it's all set to use for the next day. Okay, so let's dive into the data readings of KEGG, because this is where it confused me, and I am a visual learner, so I'm going to be inserting charts so that you could see too, because I was going on the website and reading this and I was like, wait, what? So hopefully when I explain it to you, you'll have a better understanding of it too, because the chart is very important for you to be looking at. So it'll be more important than you just looking at this area right here, because I was focusing on that and less of this chart. This is my current chart right now. But this, you really want to focus on your chart, because in here, we're signaling when you're about to ovulate. You do not need to wait until the first day of your cycle to start using the KEGG. You can use it as soon as you receive it. As long as you're not on your period, you could start using the KEGG and begin to learn more about your fertility. Okay, so I emailed with KEGG and I've been working with their team to help create this video. So I do have notes that they helped me with. So if you see me now reading off of a paper, that's what I'm doing, just to make sure that you are getting all of this information correctly, because I have mommy brain and I can't memorize this. So that's what I'm doing. Okay, so now getting into the KEGG chart. Okay, so KEGG helps the user know when the fertile window is happening in two ways. First, KEGG places a fertile window prediction at the beginning of the cycle. This appears as 5 green days on your KEGG chart. Second, KEGG shows the user both the daily readings, which will be connected with a darker green trend line to help you see the overall pattern of your readings. For your first cycle with KEGG, the fertile window prediction is based on the cycle length that you entered at the setup. This is because KEGG has yet to gather data about your unique cycle trends. For all future cycles after the first cycle, the prediction will be based on previous cycles' data. The great news is your daily readings can cue you in about your fertile window as soon as you start using KEGG. Instead of relying on the fertile window prediction alone, which was another mistake that I was doing when I first started using KEGG, so I wanted to avoid this. Is for anybody out there who's currently using KEGG. It's wise to keep your eyes on your KEGG readings. So many factors influence our cycles. We get sick, stressed, busy, we travel. These factors can influence when our fertile window occurs and can even delay when our fertile window will happen. With KEGG though, we can see in real time how these factors will influence when our fertile window occurs. Okay, so now we're going to break it down and learn what to look for at the first cycle of KEGG. So when the body prepares to ovulate, estrogen rises. This rising estrogen causes a lower effect on the electrolytes in the cervical fluid. This shift in electrolytes in the cervical fluid is reflected in the KEGG readings. We will begin to see the readings move downward on the KEGG chart. So when you begin to enter your fertile window, that is the time when pregnancy can occur. Your readings will be lowering on your KEGG chart. Many women are also charting fertility using cervical fluid observation. During low readings in the fertile valley, you can also observe egg-like watery cervical fluid. This is because lower readings are associated with vaginal environment that is hospitable to sperm. Okay, let's look at an example. In this chart, notice how the KEGG readings move downwards starting on cycle day 12. They continue to move downwards to form a valley. The first and second downward reading are indication to the user that the fertile valley is opening. This means it's time to start the baby making process. Typically, the downward descent signifies the opening of your fertile window. The fertile valley window typically extends for 5 days. So how you can tell when your fertile window is ending? As progesterone begins to rise thanks to the release of the egg from the ovary during ovulation, there is again a shift in electrolytes in the cervical fluid. This shift causes a rise in KEGG readings. So when it goes down and then when you start to see the rise going up, that means you are exiting out of your fertile window. To optimally time your trying to conceive efforts, it's important to recognize this full fertile window. Pregnancy more frequently results from trying 2 to 3 days before ovulation than ovulation day or the day preceding it. LH tests typically surge about a day before ovulation with a range of 12 to 36 hours before. If you wait for your LH test to turn positive, if you use ovulation predictor kits, you're likely missing out on the most important days of your fertile window. So the LH testing kits is the ovulation kits that you're peeing on, and it's testing the LH levels in your urine. Okay, so what if I don't see green predictions or my fertile valley occurred outside of the prediction? Okay, so this is important. If this is your very first cycle using KEGG, your green fertile window may be a little off, your fertile valley. And this is because KEGG needs at least some readings to understand your body to provide you with the predictions. This is more likely to happen to women with not enough data or which typical cycle lengths are over 40 days. But don't worry, you can always self-interpret the chart of the start, and KEGG has amazing support that will help you with your chart too. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up emailing the company, and I sent them over my personal KEGG chart, and I was like, can you please explain to me this valley and where I'm ovulating or I'm about to ovulate so that I can understand this better? And they were so quick to get back to me, and they're so nice. And that's where I was like, okay, I kind of want to make a video on this in case there's other users out there that were confused like me. And they were like, yes, what a good idea. And then she helped me out in creating a dialogue on how to explain this to you guys. And I love that they are such a good company because they are there to help you. So do not hesitate to jump on the website and contact them. Even if you are still left after this video and are confused, go ahead and reach out to them. Okay, so now we will talk about your trend line for after your fertile window closes. So after the fertile window passes, there's no one specific trend to be looking out for. Some women tend to have higher values, some lower, and some experience fluctuations that can appear like dips and bumps. We have seen a lot of variability in KEGG readings during the luteal phase in early pregnancy. Therefore, we cannot predict if a KEGG user is pregnant based on their KEGG chart. KEGG cannot show whether or not the user has adequate progesterone or confirm ovulation. Many KEGG users confirm ovulation with a PDG testing or use basal body temperature tracking to guesstimate when ovulation did occur. Okay, so speaking of basal body temperature tracking, if you track your basal body temperature, you can input this data into the KEGG app. If you're a temp drop user, you can have your temps automatically sync into the KEGG app. Okay, so if you're wondering when you should take a pregnancy test, I know some women like to test a couple days before their missed period, and then some test on the day of their period would have came. I personally wait till I'm late and I still get a negative test, because my cycle has just been all over the place, but KEGG is helping me learn more about my body and my cycle. But it is up to you when you want to go ahead and take the pregnancy test, but it is going to be more accurate if you wait until the day of your missed period. Also, did you know that there is only a 20% chance every cycle of you getting pregnant? Despite doing everything perfectly and timing intercourse just right, there are so many factors that impact conception. So that is egg quality, semen quality, implantation factors. And if you have been trying for more than a year, then please don't hesitate to reach out to your provider for further investigation. If you didn't know, KEGG does provide a 12-month pregnancy guarantee. So if you do not conceive in the 12 months that you are using KEGG, they will give you a full refund just for a peace of mind. Also, at the same time, KEGG has helped thousands of women in their journey in trying to conceive. Hopefully, KEGG is able to help you out in your journey as well. I know that we just went over a ton of information, but we're just gonna go ahead and summarize all the information that we just went over. So make sure that you are using KEGG on all non-bleeding days. Very important that you do that. Ensure that you are taking readings at least 8 hours after intercourse, or else you are not going to get accurate readings. Make sure that you are taking your readings within the same 2-hour window each day. You are going to look at your chart every single day, and when you start to see the indication of your readings moving downwards, that is your indication that you are moving into your fertile window. Each KEGG cycle chart is unique to you and you only. KEGG is not going to predict if you are pregnant based on your KEGG trends. And also remember that KEGG offers a 12-month guarantee. So I'm gonna put the link down below for a lot of this information on their website too, so that you can easily find it. So make sure you check down below for that if you wanna read all of this as well and take it all in. Okay. So that is the end of this video. I know that this is a longer video, but I really wanted to make sure that you guys are correctly using your KEGG to get the most out of it, and hopefully that this is able to help you to conceive. I'm still trying and using it every day and learning about my cycle. I will keep you guys updated on my journey, and I am sending you all baby dust.